Good morning. It is Tuesday morning, July 21st. Welcome this morning. Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here with us. Barbara Richardson, welcome this morning. Debbie King, welcome. Welcome everybody. Caleb Ankar, good morning. Stephen Andrea, welcome to you. Janisa, welcome. Jan Atkins, good morning. Welcome everybody. Hey there, Wendy, good morning. Steve Hauser, good morning. Sierra Para, welcome to you. Barbara Del Rio. Now the names are kind of clicking away. They were slow in coming in at first, but now I'm seeing you all pretty rapidly entering our study this morning. Alyssa Tucker, welcome. Grateful to see everybody this morning. Yesterday, I mentioned at the beginning, at the outset of the live stream yesterday, that I was tired. Hey, Claudel Romulus. Hey, welcome this morning, Claudel. We're constantly praying for Haiti, and I hadn't seen your name for a while, so welcome this morning. Grateful to see you. So yesterday I was just explaining that I was tired from the weekend, a full weekend. Well, you guys know that my dad's memorial service was Saturday, and with family coming into town, the service on Saturday, and then doing two services on Sunday, and I had a counseling appointment Sunday afternoon, and just full day. Yesterday, tired was only the beginning of my day yesterday. As the day progressed, usually if I wake up tired after kind of a busy several days, I get kind of a second wind, and I get energized at some point in the day. Yesterday, nope. But I couldn't. Yesterday it just happened to be a day that I had several appointments in a row, and all the way till late last night we had things going on. So when we got home last night at 9:30, Martha says, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, I'm going to bed. 9:30 at night, I am out. I thought, you know what, I still got to do something productive. I'm going to watch a part of a podcast. There was a podcast I wanted to review part of that I'd seen before, and I went to do that, and I didn't even remember any of it. I fell right asleep. So yesterday was a hard day, very tired, and I say all that just because I want to draw attention to the fact that our emotions, when we are experiencing them in a more profound way, as it relates to my dad's memorial service on Saturday, just is such a hard, exhausting experience. And because of that, we tend to, or at least I do, I'm guilty of trying to avoid feeling intense emotions, and so I try to mute them in different ways, suppress them, and there are healthy aspects of that in certain circumstances. But if that's your general response to emotions, which has been mine over the years, it's not a healthy thing. And so one of the things that I'm learning in the last year is to hold my emotions, to hold on to them and say, this is what I'm feeling. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to suppress it. I'm not going to let it rule me, but I'm going to hold them. I'm going to recognize them. I'm going to recognize sadness and acknowledge it, and just hold on to it and let it be there. Let it exist while I'm living my life, while I'm talking to people, while I'm doing a live stream, while I'm meeting with people. I'm going to hold that sadness and say, this is okay. This is okay. and so I want to make a couple of observations. I had one direction I wanted to go this morning with my live stream, and I may not get there. I don't know. I'm just kind of chatting with you all, I suppose, this morning. So I get when someone passes in your life, and someone who is as significant as your father, I would imagine everybody experiences intense grief. And one of the things that I observed during this time, and it was with COVID-19 not being able to have a service right away for my dad. We had a graveside within days of my dad's passing for a small group of people. And normally you have a graveside and then the service maybe the same day or at least a day apart from each other or something like that. So because of COVID, we had to push off the memorial service, his celebration of life, 4 months later. And in my mind, I thought, oh, that's tragic. What an imposition. And it was at the time. That's one of those major events that you really want to process things and you kind of want to get it behind you because it's painful. So having it 4 months out and anticipating it, I wasn't really sure how it would feel. I knew it just wasn't good. Didn't feel good that it was that far away. And as the day approached, it started mounting and in anticipation about what that day was going to be like. Now, I was thinking, so here's my thought with regard to what I thought it was going to feel like. I thought, okay, 4 months later, we're at a completely different stage in grief. Lots of time has passed, lots of processing. I'm experiencing different emotions than I did initially. How would that affect the memorial service? How would that affect what that would feel like? Would it feel artificial to have a memorial service at this point? Would it be better? Would it be worse? I really had no expectations of it, except the day of, I felt an overwhelming weight. My mom talked about this. The days preceding, this mounting weight of anticipation of this service, and you just kind of want to get it behind you because you just know it's going to be a heavy day. A good day, but heavy emotionally. And it was. And the thing is this is the one observation that I'm taking away in hindsight, is that having a memorial service 4 months later has hidden benefits. We have all processed our grief in a more integrated way, and we've internalized the grief at this point. We're not through the grief, but we've internalized it. In other words, those initial days of loss, you're kind of in an emotional fog. Talking to my older brother after the memorial service on Saturday, he mentioned, I don't even remember the graveside. I remember doing it, but the details of it, I don't remember. And so because having a memorial service is not just a cultural expectation, but it's a really necessary part of our grieving process. I've wondered since then how effective that graveside was. It was a meaningful service, but all of us were in such a fog at that point, days from my dad's passing, that having a memorial service 4 months later, as no one I don't think would ever plan to do that by design, but I'm thinking that I'm just grateful to God for his providence, because 4 months later you have a time to kind of internalize that, and so the day, my older brother said in the same conversation, said the memorial service on Saturday was far more meaningful as a result. He wasn't in the fog. It was very meaningful, and lots of tears were shed on that day, and I didn't know what to expect. The service came, and I really struggled emotionally officiating the service, and I was surprised by that, because I thought, okay, those initial emotions, I'm at some different place now in my grief. I probably won't be emotional, but it was a really hard day, and so I was grateful for that hidden blessing that allowed us a day to process our grief at the 4 month mark. Much later than people normally have a day to process grief, a memorial service or a celebration of life. And I found it to be very meaningful, and I think that, and I said this on Sunday morning for those who were a part of our Sunday morning worship service, is that things that are hard to talk about, like the loss of a loved one, some tragic experience that we've had, things that are hard to talk about, we generally don't talk about. And to have a time like this, celebration of life, set aside, what kind of forces you to acknowledge your grief and verbalize it, and spend an extended period of time talking about memories and so on, was such a healthy thing for us. And I want to acknowledge that, because it's a cultural thing. I think at some parts we don't like to talk about our loved ones that have passed, especially as it associates with our grief. And I've talked with many of you that I know that are part of this live stream, and as a pastor, walking you through grief in your life, and walking alongside you, and how I've been a part of some of those. Had the privilege of being a part of some of those very difficult remembrances and processes of grief with you. And I always want to encourage, as someone who's just kind of feeling that firsthand in a unique way. I've not experienced, this is the first time as a son losing my father. Of course, you all know, if you know us, you know we had a very tragic loss in our family with Martha's sister Mary and Brad, and their tragic loss in 2018, and how painful that was. And I know by experience that since that time, we haven't had a lot of, really almost no times of extended times as a family to sit down and just talk out how we're feeling, where we're at. They've been in little pocket conversations. They've come up spontaneously, and it's been more of a kind of sometimes passing comments. And even those times in themselves are so healthy. For instance, we had Brad and Mary's wedding anniversary was in July. And Martha, we have a family group chat that we touch bases with all parts of our lives together. It's our way of staying connected, even though we're actually located all over the United States. Even one of our nieces is in New Zealand. So Martha, in that family chat, acknowledged, hey, yesterday was Brad and Mary's birthday. I just want to express some memories I have of that day. And it kind of triggered some things for people, our family members to, I know I did. I responded, and with some reflections of my own, and Martha asked me after posting that, do you think that was okay that I did that? Do you think it was hard for people that when we bring up memories like that? And I said, yeah, absolutely it was hard. It was painful to sit and reflect and have that memory of someone who's no longer with us, and people that are so special to us, so important to us. But I also believe that it is so good. It is so hard, but it is so good to stop and remember and experience that pain, because that pain is a very reasonable and normal emotion. Again, you guys might be veterans at all this stuff, but for me, who am spent years suppressing emotion, and like any bad emotion is bad in general, and or negative emotion or bad feeling emotion, I don't want to feel those things. I want to suppress them. So to sit and by choice hold my grief, hold my sadness on that day to reflect on Brad and Mary's wedding day. And I was the best man, and Martha was the matron of honor. And what a beautiful day, and all the events that led to that, and to sit and reflect on that brought tears to my eyes. And no one would by choice, well, maybe that's too broad of a statement, but I normally wouldn't by choice just sit and acknowledge pain and grief and loss by choice. Usually have to be made to do that, or circumstantially have to do that. But I find it to be so helpful and beneficial, and those negative feelings aren't bad. They're healthy. They're a reasonable, everybody who has experienced loss is going to feel that. It's not a bad thing. It's good that we feel these things, because it reflects our love for these individuals who are no longer with us. A father and a mother in our lives, or just influential people that we had deep relationship with, when they leave this life suddenly, or even after an illness, it changes us. It leaves a hole in our heart that takes a long time to heal. And so I just want to keep acknowledging that, and acknowledging each of you. Yes, Carmen, I see that you're commenting about your brother. I know how profoundly, deeply that's affected you, and his birthday is coming up on Saturday. Hey, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge each of you and the grief that is associated with loss. And it's okay to hold on to it. And don't let anybody say, you just got to get over it. It's okay to hold grief and sadness and feel it and be present with it. It expresses the profound impact that person had on us. And it helps us, our heart, to heal. It helps us to complete our grief journey at some point. I hesitate to use words like that. I'm borrowing that term from a book I just read recently. The author is talking about completing grief and how to help the healthy process of that. But I just want to acknowledge pain in your life. Now, if that pain characterizes your life, if you can't break free of that, then there's some work to do there to that'll be healthy to help us to feel something other than grief, something other than pain. I'm not talking about pain and grief associated within days of someone's passing, but a year later, if that still characterizes your life, there's some work to do, and I would encourage you to be proactive in seeking help to navigate that emotional journey. But it's just so important for us to hold our grief and to acknowledge it. As painful as it is, it's good. It's healthy. It wears us out. Yesterday was such a hard day for me. I was so worn out from the weekend, but I don't regret any of it. And I feel like it's so good and so healthy. So I meant to talk about Psalm 21 today. I never got there. But anyway, I hope these words are an encouragement to some of you who may be dealing with grief. And Sierra's reminded me, I see your comment, Sierra, about Grief Share. Grief Share is starting again. And so I can't remember off the top of my head right now if it's this Sunday that it's starting. But Janice Favre is one who oversees our Grief Share program. And so reach out to the church office to find more information about that. And so I appreciate that. Thank you, Sierra, for reminding us of that. And grief is a journey, profound loss. One day we'll be reunited with our loved ones who have gone before us. So, Wendy says August 16th it starts. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So be blessed today. If you are grieving, hey, I'm there with you. God, and most importantly, is there with us in this journey, and He loves us so deeply, and it's good to acknowledge these things. So, be blessed today on this Tuesday, and I just pray that the Lord's blessing follows you all day long. We will see you tomorrow morning.